Shnayim Yomi, thank you so much for spending the week with me. It's been a real pleasure. We're getting close to the tail end over here of actually finishing the entire Sefer Dvarim, and of course the entire Chamisha Chumshei Torah. Mazel tov to all of you who are on that journey. Keep it up. As I said, don't let that Amalek sneak in and try and discourage you. It's always at the tail end that he likes to sneak up on the back and tap you and be like, hey, come on, you're too busy, you can do this. So really, guys, I'm super proud of you, and I've been a part of this for myself for years, and it's beautiful, and I commend each and every one of you, and a special shout out to Elad for putting this together and for making this happen. I think it is just absolutely amazing, and I really enjoyed being a part of it. Thank you for bearing with me. I want to leave you guys with a thought. Obviously you've seen my thoughts the whole week, but we're going to focus on the theme of the Parsha, which has all been about love. It's all been about our relationship with Hashem. And it's no coincidence that this Parsha falls out in Elul, which is Ani Lidodi V'Dodi Li. And we read the Haftorah from Yeshaya, Nun Daled, and this is both for Sfardim and Ashkenazim. There's no difference in the Haftorah, and this is the seventh and final Haftorah of consolation, and it opens up with Rani Akara LeYolda Pitzchi Rina V'Tzahali Lechala Ki Rabim, etc., etc. And the entire Haftorah is Yeshaya telling us how much Hashem loves us and how Hashem is going to gather the Jews from all over the world, and he's going to bring them back to Yerushalayim. And Yerushalayim, which is the Akara, the barren one, will no longer be barren because her children will return to her. It's an unbelievable reflection of the Parsha itself, because the Parsha primarily deals with interpersonal relationships, marriage, parenting, friendship, and here Hashem is telling us that it's so important for us to focus on these relationships and to imbue ourselves with the idea of because Hashem loves us and it's infinite. It's also fascinating to point out that this is the seventh and final Haftarah of consolation that takes place after two Haftarahs of destruction. Now, the two Haftarahs of destruction are from Yirmiyahu. We start reading them around Shiva Asar B'Tammuz. Obviously, it depends on how the weeks fall out, and they're very powerful. And Chazal actually refer to Yirmiyahu as the Sefer of Destruction, the Book of Destruction, because Nebuch, poor Yirmiyahu, who actually, Medrash says that when he came out of his mother's womb, he was already talking. He was actually capable of speech from the moment he was born, and he prophesied from the moment he was born. And Yirmiyahu unfortunately lived a very, very tortured life. He begged and pleaded for Klal Yisrael to stop sinning. They weren't listening to what was going on in Parshas Teitzei. They weren't following the rules that Hashem mapped out. They didn't pay attention to the messages that we got this week together. They didn't have tzaras, which is also kind of interesting because they should have at least focused on the idea of the tzaras that happens, the sinas chinam that took place. And obviously we say, Avinu chatanu, anachnu lo chatanu, but we're still, unfortunately, thousands of years without a Beis Hamikdash and without a place for Hashem to live with us. Now, this whole thing wasn't so much that Hashem needs a house. Hashem is infinite. He doesn't need a home. We need the home. And without having Hashem being there, we're losing something that is almost unfathomable. And if I elaborate on it, it'll take forever. But we should at least pick up that here, Hashem only yelled at us twice, gave us two very, very strong haftorahs of destruction, and he's following up with 7 haftorahs, seven, Ki'ilu, the Shivas Yomei of the week, of telling us how much he loves us, and how he's not going to forget us, and how he's not going to abandon us, and that he's always going to be with us. The Shekhinah didn't just leave either. It took 40 years for the process to take place, and then Chazal tell us that the Shekhinah then, 18 years before the destruction of the Beis HaMikdash, the Shekhinah went and started moving, and it moved to 10 different places, and it lists, originally it sat in the Kruvim, then from the Kruvim it went to the Lishkas HaGazis. Not important to define every single area, but it is important for us to recognize that if Hashem has so much patience with us, and He would take so much time to go ahead and do this, and then after He punishes us, He literally gives us 7 haftorahs of telling us, Ani lidodi v'dodi li, I love you, you're important to me, I care about you, I'm going to take care of you. How much more so is it important for us to follow the unbelievable web that took place in this parsha, which is, we're supposed to love one another. We're supposed to take care of one another. We're not supposed to let our friend bear heavy burdens. We're not even allowed to let his donkey bear a heavy burden. We're supposed to go ahead and watch ourselves and be careful and make sure that we're doing the Torah and mitzvahs. We're supposed to make sure that if we do make a mistake, that we try and rectify it as fast as possible. If Hashem can give us 7 haftorahs of love and happiness, how much more so is it easier to just walk over to a fellow brother and say, hey, you look a little down. Are you okay? Or, you have a friend maybe who is making chassan, and you happen to know that, he doesn't have enough money for the funds. He doesn't need to know that you know, but you can go and secretly, privately try to raise some money, drop it in his mailbox. I mean, there's so many ways that we can touch a person and lift them up and help them. And that's really what this parsha is all about. Yes, the parsha deals with milchama and all of these other things that are in there, but those are all part and parcel with how we're supposed to interact with a fellow human being, how we're supposed to interact with almost every single person on the planet. There's a famous story in the Gemara that there was a Roman who had no money, and Rabbi Akiva gave him tzedakah. And this Roman wound up becoming a very, very powerful person. And he did not forget that the only person that gave him tzedakah was Rabbi Akiva. And it translated into, a lot of good for Rabbi Akiva. But people remember. We need to remember that Hashem loves us, and we need to remember that Be'ezrat Hashem, we will be zocher to dance at the Beis HaMikdash. Amen. On that note, have an amazing Shabbos. Thank you so much.